Hello everyone, I am Bhavna Sharma, Assistant Professor, Department of Commerce, GemTech, Greater Noida. In the entrepreneurship development, we have started with role of government in organizing EDPs. In the previous lecture, we have discussed the national level agencies, and today we are going to discuss about the state level agencies which are operating in India. So some of the agencies are SISI, DIC, SFCs, and TCU. We'll discuss this one by one. SISI are the small industry service institutes, which are set up in each state, one SISI in one state. They basically provide the consultancy services and the training to the entrepreneurs who are prospective. Let's discuss about the functions of SISI. Now, they assist in existing and prospective entrepreneurs through technical and managerial counseling, like they help in selecting the appropriate machinery or equipment which is required in their organization, adoption of recognized standards of testing, quality performance. So these kind of technical counseling is being provided to the entrepreneurs. Then the small SISI conducts EDPs all over the country. They advise the central government and state government on different policy matters which is related to the small industry development. They also assist in testing of raw materials, products of small scale industries. They assist in their inspection, the quality control also. They provide information related to market to the SISIs, and they also recommend the small scale industries for the financial assistance from the different financial institutions. They enlist entrepreneurs for partition in government store purchase program. They also conduct various surveys like economic surveys, technical surveys, and prepare techno-economic feasible reports for the selected areas and selected industries. Now, next agency is DIC, which is District Industry Center. Now, this was initiated on 1st May 1978. DICs, they provide all kind of assistance, support to entrepreneurs in various states. They are mainly responsible for the promotion of cottage industries and small scale industries at district level. So from the name, it is clear that they are established or they are a center at the district level. Now, DICs provide support facilities, they provide concessions, various kind of services, so that various small scale units or tiny units, cottage industries, they help in development of these units. Now let's discuss about the objective of DIC. The basic purpose of District Industry Center is to generate more employment opportunities for rural people. It was intended to make the center as a central location so that various financial facilities and other facilities can be provided to the small scale units, to develop close links with the development blocks and specialized institutions, which helps in setting up the industries in rural areas. Next objective is they help in identifying and helping the new entrepreneurs. Now let's discuss about the various activities of District Industry Center. They register various small scale industry units, permanent registration or provisional registration, as per the requirement that is being done. They also make registration of handicrafts and cottage industries, implementation of Prime Minister Rozgar Yojana. They grant subsidies to small scale industries, distribution of project profiles among entrepreneurs. They also provide training for EDPs, organization of industrial cooperative societies. They also provide raw material assistance through SIDCO, Small Industry Development Corporation, allotment of sheds in electrical and electronic industrial estates, and marketing assistance through SIDCO. Conducts motivation campaigns for the entrepreneurs, helps in clearance of license by providing single window meeting. They also work for the rehabilitation of sick small scale industries, recommendation of awards to small scale units, and also recommend the loan applications to the banks under KVIC scheme. Next agency is SFCs, which is State Finance Corporations. Now they are an integral part of institutional finance structure of a country. Now where SEC promotes small medium enterprise of states, these SFCs, they help in assuring balanced regional development, higher investment, more employment generation, and broad ownership of various industries. Let's discuss about the functions of SFCs. SFCs provides loans for the acquisition of fixed assets like land, building, plant, machinery, equipments. State finance corporations, they also help financial assistance to industrial units whose paid up capital and reserves do not exceed 3 crores or such higher limit up to 30 crores as may be notified by central government. They also underwrite new stocks, shares, debentures of the industrial units. They also guarantee loans which is raised in the capital market by scheduled banks or industrial concerns or state cooperative banks, which has to be repaid within 20 years. Next is TCOs. TCOs are technical consultancy organizations which provide complete set of consultancy services to small and medium enterprises, individual entrepreneurs, government departments, agencies, various state level institutions, commercial banks, etc. They provide consultancy services and counsel small scale units in preparation of techno-economic feasibility reports, market survey, modernization programs, diversification programs, revival of sick. They conduct surveys on industrial potential, preparing project files, undertaking techno-economic appraisal of projects, carrying out market research, providing technical assistance, managerial assistance to the entrepreneurs. They also assist in the modernization, technology upgradations, rehabilitation programs, organizing information cell, data bank, which is related to industrial and economic activities. Now, let's discuss upon the critical evaluation of EDPs. Now, there was a study which is Entrepreneurship Development Program and Evaluation. Now, this report was published by Indian Institute of Management, Ahmedabad in 1974. A comprehensive nationwide evaluation study was made by Entrepreneurship Development Institute of India, Ahmedabad. Now, they found that 1 out of every 4 trainees, they started their enterprise after undergoing the entrepreneurial training in EDPs. About 10% trainees were found blocked due to various reasons at various stages in the process of setting up their enterprise. We can say that performance of EDPs across the states, they have not been uniform. EDPs have made a beginning of creating entrepreneurs in India. If the problems are removed, then it would be more effective in developing the entrepreneurs in India. It has also been found that contribution of EDPs is very uneven among different regions. And some of the issues which need more attention, they are the structure of EDPs, areas of operations, follow-up, training of trainers, financing pattern, etc. Next topic is, what are the problems in conducting EDPs? Now, first one is that there is lack of national level policy. EDPs are being conducted in our country from, say, last 20 years, but still we do not have a national policy on entrepreneurship. So the country should have such a policy to promote the growth and distribution of industries in different parts of the country. Next problem is the limitation of pre-training finance. Limitations to the pre-training phases regards to that target groups has to be identified, the trainees has to be selected, trainers has to be selected, there has to be publicity effort has to be done, some opportunities has to be identified. So these are some of the limitations in pre-training phase. Now next is lack of proper planning. The organizers do not prepare the projects. No trainee, they expect the trainee to do all those projects. And the trainees are not competent to do all these work without help. So EDP organizers, they do not sometimes select motivated people for training. So proper planning is not being done. Next limitation is that there is overestimation of trainees. EDPs, they assume that trainees have aptitude for self-employment. So a short-term training will motivate or enable them to select a project, but these are only the assumptions. So it may overestimation of aptitude and capabilities of the youth. So organizers, they do not impart sufficient training. Sometimes it is being found. Next is selection criteria. Now there is no uniformity in entrepreneurs identification process. Training organizations, they impart training only to those candidates who have some project ideas of their own. So there is sometimes found that there is discrimination among the applicants for training. Next is non-availability of competent faculty. Now this is a serious problem, especially in case of smaller towns or small places. So they just they have to invite guest faculty from far off places, and sometimes the resource persons, they do not turn up to take their sessions at the scheduled time. So there is the non-availability of the faculty at some rural areas. Then is non-availability of infrastructure facilities. Again, that is in rural or backward areas. like proper classrooms are not there, guest speakers are not there, proper boarding, lodging arrangements are not there. And last one is defective methodology. Now, there are sometimes seen that there is ill-planned methodology related to training. Course curriculum is not standardized. So these are some of the problems which is being found in conducting EDPs in India. Thank you. So in today we have discussed the role of government as well as the problems in conducting EDPs. So this was all about EDPs. Thank you. That's all for today.